Microphone check, check, 1, 2, 3. Now, I know I'm here by myself, just getting a little feel as I'm running the stream. Oh, all right, so we just went live. I'm kind of just getting my bearings as far as running a live stream here. Easy peasy. And I'm just going to wait around a little bit and see who wants to show up to the show, if anybody. I was supposed to show up Saturday, but I got a sick kiddo here. I apologize for that. I also apologize for disappearing a little bit in the group at the beginning of the year. Facts of the matter are, been a lot of the back of the house stuff going on, and that's where I've been needed. So just been focused on the background, making sure we've got new teams for new products that are coming out. We've got some SaaS products coming out, some other stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited. And yeah, again, I've got a sick kiddo. I see somebody just joined. Hello, whoever you are. So I'm just doing a quick little live stream here, answering any questions that anybody might have. And I guess just to start, we'll go over just a project that I was kind of looking at. It's a local site. Competition, I would say, is around medium. And, we started off, let me get you a little screenshot here, going real hard with this site. I think, when we started in 23, end of 23, this was the only project in that network that we started working on. And now we have 5 projects going after similar SERPs, right? As you can probably tell, we started the new project somewhere around here. This is actually what happens when you stop backlinking and adding content to an asset. And we just started tailoring things back on. Now, I wouldn't advise anybody that's working on a project to do stuff like this, but when you're experimenting with a network like this, and you kind of know what to expect, it's all right. Specifically, if you're monitoring the keywords that are making you money. And what you'll come to note, if you're actually looking at this asset the same way that I am, is that even though it looks like it's on a steep decline, the main keywords that we want it ranking for are doing just fine. So a lot of this is informational content that just started losing, page 2, 3 rankings that don't really add up to a lot of money for this asset. And so in turn, we started working on other projects to get those similar SERPs that are worth some money. And they're coming up as well now too. But I think it's interesting because a lot of people wonder, well, what if I get my website ranked? Or I see a lot of newer people, they come, they say, well, what if I want to get my website ranked? And, once I hit my 1 to 3 positions, I've got what I kind of wanted for this asset. Where do I go from there? Can I just lay off the gas? Well, if you lay off the gas, chances are, if it's not a very competitive local SERP, you might keep a lot of those rankings. You might keep them for a long time, sometimes for years before a competitor is going to come in and actually give you a run for your money. And then you got to start back up. Sometimes it's going to play, the catch up is going to be hard, right? So I wouldn't recommend doing this unless you're like we're doing, focused on other assets and you're getting spread thin with the budget, right? I can assure you that the other 3 sites that we've added to this network are now pulling up here, doing really well, and he's getting that much more market share. So, you got to think about how you're running your campaign for a decent amount of time. Now, let me get you another screenshot, and we'll go over just some other random data that I think is interesting to look at that a lot of people miss. A lot of people ask about this as well, and this is a feature that I think gets overlooked in Ahrefs a whole lot. Let me clear that out. All right, so here we're going to see a breakdown of the type of content we built right out of the gate for this asset. I always go really heavy on informational, especially if you know, you're a local website. Then this is a good way to inject a lot of niche relevance, build out the topical map. And if like we're dealing with medium keyword difficulty here, you know, this helps, I feel, get you a leg up if you focus on informational with no real selling point. So like, I'm not building out affiliate links on this. I used to do that with a lot of local sites, but then I've been seeing adverse effects in the last 6 months. And so trying to go after that little bonus is not really worthwhile, you know? So typically I'll first go for informational. Navigational is really interesting because especially if you're using AI and stuff, this is a way you can kind of play with some concepts that other people might get popped for, if you're not being too spammy with it. And then of course, since it's a local website, you know, the only really selling point is on the site in the form of a pop-up banner, a sticky header, and in the blog, a sidebar, clickable to JavaScript that pulls up a way to sign up for something basically, or pay for something. But yeah, typically, you know, like with this asset, what I did was focus on informational right out of the gate, and backlinking was, I think, I did my, you know, we did our 100 citations pack, added in niche edits guest posts right out of the gate. I didn't do any PBN with this though, especially with our PBN, since you can get different kinds of links. Definitely worth utilizing, but I did not on this asset. And then informational content real heavy. Within 4 months, breaking in with a fresh site, we were number 2 and number 3 for keywords that we really wanted here. And that's again in like medium competition, but pretty big metro, right? The thing is, it's a pretty niche relevant kind of market. And so while we have competitors, there's not a terrible amount of them, which is why we opted to then change our strategy from just one website to multiple in order to gain more interest across those SERPs. All right, well, I see some people have rolled in now, and some familiar faces, some people asking questions. So let's get to them. Super Sloth, how you been, man? Yeah, where have we been? Well, it's been a while since we've done a live stream, and let me put this up. And the reason isn't because we didn't miss you guys, etc. The reason is because a lot of things have been going on in the background at Sir Links a lot. We're doing great, both me and Chris, because I know everybody's asking the same thing. And I think I'm going to see Chris in Vietnam at the beginning of March. So if anybody's going to the SEO Mastery Summit, you know, feel free to let us know. We're going to be out there. And I think that'd probably be a good time for me and Chris to do a joint interview again. You know, fact of the matter is Chris has actually moved on from Sir Links a lot to other ventures. However, he's still, you know, tied to what we're doing here. I ended up buying him out, and we're still partnered in a sense, but we're working on our own ventures, right? I think, and before anybody asks, yes, it's all very cordial. We're content with our move. Chris and I have been friends since we were in early high school, right? So we've known each other a long time. When we started working together, you know, this was all real small and stuff, and it blew out quickly for us. We both, you know, had a great time working together, but at some point, you know, we both started working on agency stuff, had our own stuff going together, and ultimately, you know, Chris was ready to kind of do his own thing. So we came up with a solid agreement. I'm not gonna lie, my pocketbook is hurting a little bit, but yeah, where everybody's happy. Chris will still be coming on the show. You'll see him in the group and stuff. I think he's just been on a bit of a hiatus, vacationing, enjoying his time off. But that means for me, I'm going to have to come in and start giving you guys a little bit more as far as, you know, the videos and stuff go. But also, I want you to note that I know a lot of y'all got used to Chris being on live stream, and he's excellent at it. I'm not going to lie, right? And so I know that's big shoes to fill, because he's great at that job. I want you to know too that even though I know I'm not as charismatic, I have started bringing together more of what I conceptualized as a network of SEOs that you guys are going to be able to have here as resources. So that'll be announced here within the next couple of weeks. Now, I know you guys saw Artemis give an intro video. She's actually making videos back of the house for us right now, product stuff, etc. After that's all set, she's going to start doing interviews with people, etc. And then we've got a few other people that are going to come in as brand ambassadors that are all experts in a different field or niche of SEO. So we've got a lot of interesting personalities working in different stuff. That way, all of y'all that have been coming here for a long period of time can now start getting different perspectives from different people and different personalities as well, which I think is going to be pretty cool. And I think Chris is going to keep making videos for us as well based on that principle. So, you know, you're going to have just that many more people here. So yeah, that's basically what's been going on at Sir Links a lot, you know, in taking over the company and getting back of the house all the way I kind of wanted it. You know, main thing was just that nothing suffers as far as the company or product. And that definitely held strong. We've had no issues. So now it's just getting back to the front of the house. You know, this is all the stuff that we've been doing for free for the years. We don't plan on ever putting a price tag on this or anything. But every once in a while, if there's stuff in the back of the house that needs, you know, some adjusting, then I've got to focus over there instead. So yeah, that's basically in a nutshell what's been going on, let's say the last like 3-4 months, and why I've been a little bit quieter in the group than normal. But you know, that's about it. So if you guys have any questions, concerns, interests, anything you want to hear, etc., please let me know, and I'd be happy to answer any further questions for you guys. Couple more questions rolled in, so let's get to them. And appreciate that, Super Sloth. We're doing good, man. Can't complain about a single thing, to be honest with you. Just ultra busy. You know, you say stressful. I'll be honest. The only stressful part was, you know, about a year ago when the deal started, if I'm being honest, right? Like, so that's how long it takes to get something like this hashed out. So that was stressful, but nah, all this stuff is really exciting. Like I said earlier, and I don't think anybody was really on stream, I've been building a lot of new products with a lot of new team members we hired. We hired coders, all sorts of stuff. So I've got like some SaaS products coming out for you guys, things that I'm really excited about bringing to Sir Links a lot, because it's going to take us to the next level. You know, there were some concepts that I've been playing around with that I knew I'd want the right teams for in order to get started with, because I've dealt with specifically coders before, and that can get stressful. But no, things are going really well. So, all right, let's see what Chris got to say. Hey, Chris, thoughts on older forum backlinks that are due follow, circa early 2000s, but good, but not going to move the needle much? So I like forum links, especially if it's forums where you have to work a little bit, right? Like it's moderated pretty well, etc. If it's a niche relevant forum, especially with do follow links that's been going on and active, right? With active users that really use these forums to talk about very niche specific things. And then of course, with age, the older, the better, then yeah, they are good. And they're not going to move the needle much in comparison to something like niche edits or guest posts. However, you know, I would consider a forum link sort of like, well, not sort of, it is a pillow link or a foundational link. However, if it's on a forum that's high quality, that's been around for a long time, it's probably getting backlinks, has high DR, a lot of history, a lot of very topically relevant information on something, that then I would count that more like an aged or well-maintained Web 2.0 or something like that. And to be honest, in micro niches, like especially local stuff, I have seen it done more than I would expect to. A couple of things that I say are pillow links that I really like are forum links, the kind that you're talking about, higher quality stuff, not stuff that you're just going to go to Fiverr and be able to buy in a blast. And yeah, then, aged Web 2.0s and things like that. And are they going to move the needle all that much? Not really, but are they high quality pillow links? Absolutely. Another one I like a lot that's harder to get is good blog comments. Talking about, again, moderated on blogs that have been around a long time, but those are, you got to go throw out like 40 or 50 in outreach in order to get a handful of them. So it's not easy work, and it's definitely not something you just go buy over at Fiverr. But yeah, I hope that helps. Sorry if you can hear my kiddo in the background. He's a little bit sick. That's why I had to get here out on Monday instead of Saturday. All right. I figured it was going to be a little bit of a slow stream, just given that I didn't make too much of an announcement or anything. So if you guys got anything going, any questions, anything, just let me know. Otherwise, let me see what I've got going on in the group. Anybody working on anything cool this new year? Anybody worried? I've definitely had some worried people out there, contemplating the future of SEO, etc., which I always find funny. In my history of being here for the last going on like 11, 12 years now, there's always been doom and gloom. SEO was always going to be gone in a year or two, and we're still at it. Though I will say, with quantum computing and all of that, the narrative gets way sci-fi, so you never know what to expect. But as long as I've been in this industry, there's always been something like that. I always keep my head down, keep working, and we're still making money today. I don't imagine anything's going to change here in the near future either. And I say that for all these newer SEOs that are really worried about this kind of stuff. And fact of the matter is, when you get into digital marketing, we've been talking about this for a long period of time. You've got a lot of opportunity. Don't pigeonhole yourself, right? So, sometimes you get started in SEO and maybe you should have spent a little bit more time in ads or social media, etc. Don't get stuck on the most complex thing. There's a bunch of different avenues that we can take. And I was talking with somebody about it. It's like, ultimately, let's say SEO gets really broken down within the next 2-3 years. There's still always going to be some form of press that you're going to rely on to get traffic, right? So backlinking isn't dead in and of itself, even if SEO is gone. And then, there's so many different avenues that use similar data sets, like ads in and of themselves. So you can always diversify, you can always learn more, and digital marketing in of itself, I'm not worried about, whether I'm still going to be working in this 10 years down the line. It's just not something I'm worried about. Let's see what Chris has here. Notice a lot more AI crawlers hitting the website. Not sure that you would change much of anything. I'm guessing you're just talking about like bots hitting your site, random random traffic. There's nothing, you're going to be able to do about that, right? There's always different crawlers that are going to be running around, checking out different websites. And currently AI crawlers, well, what are they doing? I don't want to whistle blow or anything. I'm just joking. Never mind. But, let's be real. A lot of this AI is just stealing content or scraping content, repurposing, etc. Right? So would I change anything? No. Keep doing what you're doing, right? I was looking into like AI philosophy recently and found this guy who was speaking. I can't remember his name right now. Speaking and talking about how there's never been a greater time to pump as much of your true content into the internet right now. Teach your values, etc. To these machines that you know, we've been creating. And there's some other people that get real deep into those concepts. I think, you know, there's not a lot of marketers that I've talked to that really look at it from that perspective, but I definitely always have. I'm not gonna lie. I talked to Praveen recently, who you see in the group a lot. You know, he's a up and coming star there. But we were talking about it, and I was saying that I feel some guilt sometimes about being a marketer, and you know, the reason just has to do with me conceptualizing that the majority of work I'm doing is trying to get clicks out of somebody, you know, or get their attention. And so, you know, not to be too righteous or anything, I always try and inject a little bit of who I am, right? Like that's why Sir Links a lot is definitely a testament to how I got started, which was there was nothing available for free and everything wanted to take your money. And, you know, I don't know, I thought it'd be nice to give a resource like, you know, that was the exact opposite. Never charge for educational resources. Now, I know that's going to help me move products, so I'm not going to say it's completely benign from making money, but the concept of giving this out, etc., was mainly just to build an educational resource and help, which is just my personality. Chris's personality is well tied to, you know, what we created, which is a business. But, you know, giving back a little bit as we build as well. And I think that's helped this brand. I think that's why we've got guys like, you know, Super Sloth, Chris, different people that have come back, you know, show in, show out. And we got so many emails coming into customer service saying, hey, we're Chris and Nick, is everything okay? And it pulled at my heartstrings. I told Chris too. And it's just like, man, you know, that brings a little bit of tear to both of our eyes because, yeah, it's nice to know that what you put out there was well received and that people, you know, are using it and liking it. So anyhow, sorry, you know, you can expect me to rant a little bit more as I'm answering questions. I'm sorry, I'm a bit cathartic as I'm here on live stream. So anyhow, yeah, black hole. The internet is not going anywhere, man. And so for all these people that are really stressed out about losing all their job and opportunity, nah, it's just all about adapting, and everything in the world is about adapting. So, you know, I think for me personally, and I've said this before, I was a Neanderthal to the max when it came to computers, computer literacy. When I got into this field close to 14 years ago, started working for a capital that was backed by venture capital, and that's how I got my start. To me, as it's gotten more complex over the years, I've gotten more excited and the company has grown. So, you know, just from that perspective, what I would say to anybody that's feeling a little bit of the pressure or maybe, you know, feels a little bit worried about stuff, if you're enjoying exploring this stuff, it's not going anywhere. Digital marketing is a wide field, huge net with a lot of opportunity. And a lot of these jobs can be very macro or very micro. You know, I got started selling my first job, my first real gig online was doing page speed optimization on Fiverr for 20 bucks at a time. And I've said that before. It didn't go over well because every website's different. And trying to figure that out on a set budget was a pretty stupid idea. But I can't tell you how many different things I did like that until I found the PBN, and then that all, you know, got me down the rabbit hole of backlinking, which then helped me build everything else too. So explore, and if you're having fun exploring, it's the same as in real life. You know, the internet is never ending. And there's a lot of bucks to be made out there. So just enjoy the journey and start playing with it. You know, it's going to be all right. And yeah, adapt all the time, adapt, right? And if you're worried about your income getting sniped on one end, cool. Find something that is the closest to what you're currently working on and then diversify out of it. For a lot of you guys, what I'm realizing is maybe you're a local business owner or you work with a lot of local business owners, but then you're, again, going back to the beginning, pigeonholed into only doing SEO or only doing ads or being very micro focused. split that budget up and do more things. And if you're hiring, hire for more diversified options as you go. And if you're learning, learn diversified options as you go too. This is going to help insulate your business plan. And then I've been there a million times, man. I can tell you when I lost like, it was like 40% or something of a PBN network when I early got started, right? All of us did. Matt Diggity was exclusively PBN at the time, or maybe just diversifying. But like we all had a meeting the next day. And it's like, holy mother of God. Some of us were diversified. A lot of the vendors that, you know, were just selling PBNs right there that's the last I heard of them. So, you know, keep your eyes on the prize. And as you're building this, you know, it helps if you're really just enjoying the motions. Yeah. I searched GPT and their crawlers hitting websites. Yep, for sure. And one of the discussions I had this morning was about, you know, Google rolling out their new AI kind of platform and what that means for us. I don't know exactly what it means for us at this point, you know. And I try to take everything with a grain of salt because everything that has been real hyped up over this last couple of years ends up finding some sort of demise at the end. You know, it's supposed to be the thing that ends everything. It's supposed to be like this new mega way of search that's going to newly define how we do everything here. And it's fallen short on everything that I've seen come up. So, you know, maybe once quantum computing becomes a real thing and things get a lot more complex, then we'll have to start conceptualizing different things. But as of right now, I don't know. I mean, let them come crawl, let them spit out our information. Ultimately, I don't see too much of an issue here. I'm not terribly worried about it. And I will say that I'm diversifying into AI as much as I possibly can. Now, I don't really do AI content very much anymore, but I am using AI for all sorts of different exercises, especially on like employee level, writing SOP. I am, again, a Neanderthal with computer language, and I've managed to code some stuff just using AI, et cetera, right? So like, let's not be worried about what's coming. You know, accept it. It's new technology, and it could be very exciting if we are the first to kind of hone in on how that works. And, you know, there's guys like Robert Niechel, to me, who are on the very advanced spectrum of this kind of stuff, you know, and if you want to learn a lot, that's why I recommend talking to those guys. I mean, you know, we did an interview with him, and it's still one of my favorite interviews because of how in depth it goes. That guy's a mastermind at all this, and he's excited about all of it as an SEO. And if you're seeing prominent people in SEO get excited about things that some smaller guys are getting scared of, latch on to the guy that's got the information that's going to help you utilize it in the future, right? All right. What tools do you like for keyword research that give realistic numbers of possible traffic? Google Search Console seems off and to the low side. Rush seems off and to the high side. Curious what you use. Sure. So, you know, like nothing has ever changed since I got started in SEO. Ahrefs has always been my go-to main tool. There's not a day that I'm not using it, and that's for any kind of exploration. It's very intuitive, seems to have really good data, you know, and even when people are maybe complaining about changes and stuff, you know, we've always stuck with it. So preliminary, and maybe sometimes if it's like local or something, that's where it's going to stand with me unless I'm getting really nitty gritty. So, you know, using keyword research tools in there. I like to also pull up competitors and see exactly what they're, you know, ranking for. Sometimes there's stuff that's just outside the topical map that's definitely worthwhile to get and very easy to get. So those two things in conjunction, so the tool Ahrefs and, you know, their Keywords Explorer, as well as manually auditing what your competitors are ranking for, I think is a great toolkit. And then let's say I want to get a little bit more nitty gritty with my keyword research. I'm going to use the extension Keywords Everywhere for Chrome. Sometimes I'll use Ahrefs bar or Moz bar as I'm searching. And honestly, that's about it. You know, what kind of things am I looking for? Well, if it's a brand new site or if it's a low authority site, I'm going to be looking for low hanging fruit, that easier informational content to go after. However, I'm still going to initially structure my website out to go after those macro targets that I really want. So if your website is best plumbers in Iowa, you're going to break down all the macro for that. So, you know, the geographic areas in Iowa, the services you provide under plumbing, et cetera. And then start looking for anything that's related to that informational content wise, that's low hanging, that I can build out. And as I start to see my website move up in the SERPs in Ahrefs, then I will start to attack a little bit higher competition keywords. Or, you know, I'll do like 10% competition, higher competitive keywords, and 90% informational, until I see that this website is being well received in the eyes of Google, and then I'll start manipulating a little bit more. Yeah, so, you know, hope that helps, but can clarify anything else if you need more. And yeah, like I said, I got a sick kid here. So if we start running out of the questions, you know, since I didn't announce this or anything, I'll probably take off a bit earlier. But like I said, we're going to be doing this more often. I promise I'll get on live stream, and, you know, then so will Artemis. And get ready, because within the next 2 weeks, we've got a lot of personalities showing up to give you different perspectives on things. Started ranking page 2 for a 10,000 traffic term. Changed my landing page title and keywords to target it. Google dropped me, but I recovered in weeks. Was optimizing for a tough term, a good long-term move? In my opinion, yes. Because if you're stuck on page 2 for that keyword, you're not getting much of anything out of it. Like, you can imagine that you might get a couple of stragglers, but chances are you're not really benefiting from that. So in my opinion, if you're not on page 1 and really at the top of page 1, I consider it that it's just not where I want it. And since that's not my goal set, you know, it's trash essentially. Like, I'm looking for those top targets. I'm looking for that payload. So I think if you went back and you optimized your content, you know, that starts with titles, but everything else under that page as well, then I think that's a really smart option. And I think it's really cool that you knew that after you do it, you can expect some volatility. It's not always going to just be you know, you wake up tomorrow and then the work you did yesterday is shot you up. Oftentimes, Google's really going to mess with you. They're going to make you think you did the wrong thing and that you screwed up. And then, like you said, a couple weeks or even a few weeks later, depending on what you're going after, you'll go up. A lot of times, other stuff you'll see too is when you get up for that higher competition term, you're going to get up one day and then you're going to be out maybe sometimes off of the top 10 pages in search for a handful of days, and then it'll test you back and forth, right? And at that point in time, my best advice is don't mess with anything. Just leave it alone, because you're being tested against your competition, and that's an awesome place to be. If you're going to be doing anything at that point in time, I say high authority backlinks, very natural anchors if you're going to go to the inner page, but you know, very natural anchors no matter what. You can do a couple interpage, heavy homepage. It's going to show, you know, more authority and higher trust to that particular asset. So that's something I really like to do. Yeah, no, I'd say always a good practice. Even if you're on page 1, I'll still go optimize articles just to ensure that they get recrawled and it shows that somebody is taking care of these things, right? I think there's a lot of value added in a well-maintained site in the SERPs. And so it's definitely worthwhile to go back and kind of comb stuff. All right. You're welcome, TN Bog. Yeah, let me see here. Do I have something interesting I can pull up that I've been messing with? Not too much off of this website that I got started on this morning before anybody showed up. You know, was just kind of looking for a little bit of audit information there that I think could be useful. That was something we hadn't talked about. You know, as we get going here, feel free to jump into the group and start requesting stuff too. I think right now is a time where I'd like to listen to what you guys really want out of this company, etc. You know, that's listening to that last year was why we came up with digital PR, etc. And now I know you guys want the content coming back, and we've got it coming back. But yeah, let us know. And again, I'm going to be in Vietnam. Chris will be too. Some other members. So March, somewhere around March 10th for that event. And if you've never been to SEO Mastery Summit, that's an amazing event. I go to pretty much every year. And then, of course, Matt Diggity's in Chiang Mai at the end of the year is also amazing. And I know there's one in Mexico that I've been meaning to jump into. We'll see when I can get out to that. But anybody that's going to Vietnam, let me know. Love to see you there. Chris with another question. Hey, man, thanks for keeping me going. I would have hated to sat here twiddling my thumbs, especially as I just showed back up on live stream. So thank you very much if you guys are here answering questions or if you showed up. And, you know, always a pleasure. So competitor has been link building like crazy, sniping my links too. SEMrush has flagged them as a link farm, but they are killing it. Risky to try and copy their links back. Okay. First off, I'm gonna talk about the SEMrush flagging them as a farm. It's probably accurate that it is a good amount of them are farmed links, right? But here's the thing: if somebody is diversifying pretty good, and sometimes they don't even have to. Sometimes it's just relevant on the niche, but ideal scenario. If somebody's diversifying really well with a high quality backlink profile, then getting additional links that might be a bit more on the spammy side, however, still index, still resonating in the search, still add crawlability to your website via that link. And so long as Google's crawling it or sees it as relevant and worthwhile to crawl, you're going to get some benefit. Now, all of that's going to depend on how much money they're paying to get those, right? Ultimately, do we give a shit what third-party analytics say if we're ranking #1 for the terms we want using GSA spam? The answer is we don't care. We're after that payload, right? But the reason I don't build that way, and the reason I don't have any interest in even exploring that stuff anymore, is because then at some point something shifts in the algorithm, and if you're being spammy, if you're doing these kinds of things, then you're going to get sniped, and all your hard work at that point goes to zero. Now, if you've already made your money off it, then that can be fine, but I like working with longevity in mind, so that's not something I'm going to partake in. But will I get some lower quality links in conjunction with high quality stuff if I'm ranking well? Yes. What do I do there? I use natural anchors, typically to the home page, nothing with money anchors or anything that's going to look spammy. It just has to look like it's happening naturally, right? Now, would I go and copy a competitor's spammy backlink profile? Would I do outreach trying to get every link they have? I don't do it, and I absolutely would not do it. Now, there might be some bias here in me talking because I've spent years building my own link networks, right? And so I use my own link networks on my own projects. Sometimes if I want to get spammier, then I'll go and I'll find a source that's higher quality spam for that. But very rare that I use any of that stuff anymore. Again, because I don't like the topsy-turvy feel of it. I like to kind of know what I'm doing. Now, in turn, that means I'm not going to have a problem getting similar or metrics as far as how many referring domains I've got, what my DR is, how much power is coming to the site, etc. I don't worry about what backlinks a competitor has. I get my own backlinks and focus on moving up in search. If I'm having a problem beating out a competitor, then I might look for stuff they have, but it's not going to be the farm stuff. It's going to be their editorial and PR stuff, where I'm maybe trying to talk to an editor to write a real good piece, and it's going to cost a lot of money to get that. But sometimes you need that nudge to get up above a competitor. It's typically that kind of stuff that you're going to want to go after and emulate, not the guest post farm blogs that they got off Fiverr, that the same list gets sent out across 50, 60 vendors. Even if Google gives those things some power, right? Or if some link juice is going to pass through them, it's not going to get you, it's not going to help you advance enough to warrant getting them. And I think all of that is just kind of ticking time bomb stuff, in the sense that even if later on it doesn't hurt your rankings, those websites are going to be dismissed, and they're just kind of, money can be spent better elsewhere getting a high quality link profile. And that's something else that you'll come to find too. If you're really stressed out that you can't beat this spammy ass competitor, which has happened to me before, you might want to start getting spammy with your link building campaign, even though you've been clean forever. But then at some point in time, an algorithmic shift is going to happen, and you'll come to find that you whooped them quickly, and that all their light work got shoved out, and then you're the king of those SERPs. So, it's harder as a new SEO that's maybe working on like one or two websites. And it's easier if you've got a lot of websites to work on to kind of, take that angle on it. But yeah, it's not necessarily risky to go after them. It's just, in my opinion, not worthwhile, especially if you've got, a vendor like us or something like that. But you're welcome to, do the outreach. But if I was going to spend time doing that, go after their high-end stuff, not their low-end stuff. That's where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. And research is not cheap if you're using your time, right? Hope that helps. I'd love consulting meetings, like something where we could hop on a one-on-one call and get coaching, etc. Even if it goes on the live stream after, I'd pay good money for that. So yeah, that's really, it's something that I had considered before consulting. The issue is, for me and Chris, because we had discussed it a lot, we run out of time, right? So even if you're charging an egregious amount for these one-on-one meetings, if we're working on our projects, and our projects ultimately are about the multiples that we're going to sell them for later, et cetera, it gets really hard to, go back and do some of this hourly stuff. Not gonna lie. And that's why we've got the list of audits, and I'll start doing that for you. Maybe if I'm not going to do an AMA, I'll do an audit, or a few audits per week. That way I can get guys like you, give you a full-fledged audit right now as we're doing them for free. Maybe I could make that kind of my focus as other people are doing AMAs, etc. Now, I'm just so you're understanding, Sir Links-a-Lot is one of my main projects, but I do have several SEO-based companies all under the same umbrella, right? So I'm working on a lot of different things, and the only consulting that I currently do is typically when corporate clients need full spectrum SEO services, and all that stuff gets pretty wild. So it's not something that I talk about too often out here, but Sir Links-a-Lot is one part of a very big SEO-based enterprise, and we do work for, our smallest clients would be here at Sir Links a lot, but also the most clients. And then, on my agency side, especially the stuff that I'm working on closely and personally, that's not mine, is a lot of really big corporate clients that need a lot. And so if you see that I have not been able to be very active in the group and stuff, that, was part of it, was automating all these things so that then I've got time to come out here and help out as well with all this stuff. If I do figure out how to do any of this, or if I can help automate it with people that I think are really worthwhile, then we will do that. Now, if you're interested in a product that is as close to this as you can get, our managed link building platform is phenomenal, because you apply immediately. You're going to get a report auditing your site, telling you what we found, telling you, what angles we would take as far as backlinking. And even though we're not doing the on page, we still give you information that would help you come up with a campaign for your on page in conjunction with us doing the backlinking for you. So while it's not one-on-one video consulting, you are tied to your agent. They can't answer very specific link building advice like I'm doing with you now, but they will go back and forth with you on your campaign, and they will help you figure out what you need. And that is definitely the most advanced product that we've designed, and it is very strong. If you want to, feel free to, ask about it in the group, etc. There's a lot of people that are doing that. We have over 100 clients in MLB, right? So it's definitely not a lightweight machine that we've got there, and you get a lot of information. So yeah, that would be my recommendation, is at least check out the platform, get the site audit, etc. The most you're out is $100 there. So, kind of a cheap segue for that. But also feel free to PM me your site. I'll add you to the site audit list, and I'll make it a habit to keep doing that. I also just realized how goofy I look with these. These are my sons, but I couldn't find my headphones. I'm moving some stuff back here. So yeah, sorry, I look a little goofy. Hope that helps. I really appreciate that you would want one-on-one, but as of right now, I don't see it as too feasible without it carrying such a high ticket that I don't know. I feel like I could come up with something better that would be cheaper, that is more accessible, and that's how I prefer to be, at least with Sir Links a lot. Is a hard reverse, hard silo with a topical authority map a realistic structure to perform well in SEO? So, yes, you can perform any number of structures extremely well, and you can silo them perfectly where no link escapes each silo and there is only interconnectivity within the silo, etc. Save, sidebar links or footer links, etc. I don't build that way. People do build that way. This to me is something that's up to preference. Now, I do structure my sites a specific way when I'm building them out. They are, put into different categories. There's category silos, etc. But when I use my interlinking, it's going all over the place. I don't care if it's in a different silo, because the point is to just get crawlability across the entire site. And the more I've got going, if it makes sense to have a link somewhere, then you just put it in there. If it's an interlink from this silo all the way 200 silos down or whatever, I go ahead and I do that. My interlinking plan has to do with just being very natural, putting things where they're supposed to be, where it makes sense to be. And typically I don't get too far out. As far as, if I'm working on an asset, then it's going to be pretty niche down. I don't do any kind of general stuff, so I don't have that kind of issue. Now, if you do get a little bit more general, maybe you'll want to keep that down a little bit, I guess. But in my opinion, I don't give too much weight to siloing real hard in the hopes that I can keep link juice just coordinated to one section of the site. If I'm building stuff out, I want it all ranking, all moving, and all to be useful. And yeah, I'm just going to be interlinking all over the place. However, let's say maybe you're a bit more OCD than me and that doesn't jive with you. Can you build out a site this way, the way that you're asking, and rank and do well? Absolutely. I've seen people do it. So a lot of this is going to have, come down to personal preference. And then, yeah, if you want to get real technical about maximizing link juice and stuff, you could try and experiment with data, but the variables are all over the place. So it's incredibly hard to get like a constant repeat. I'll tell you that I've been building sites this way, without really hard silo structures, and it's never been an issue for me. So hope that helps. Cool, and we are kind of running up on time here. Looks like maybe some people dwindling down here on a Monday. Got to get back to work, etc. Really appreciate everybody coming down. But yeah, if you got any last minute questions, go ahead and give them to me. Or, if you got anything to comment on, etc., I'd love to hear things. Again, just to go back, I think by the start of March, you're going to see everything basically be back to normal as far as our chatter in the group goes, etc. And for those of you that weren't here earlier, we are bringing a whole slew of new SEO experts into the mix. So you're going to get a lot of information from different people working on different things. We're going to have more case studies coming out from different perspectives, etc. I'm really excited about it. I hope you guys are too. And again, if you've got any questions, concerns, anything, feel free to voice them out in the chat. And, I'm going to make this live stream more of a habit as well. So I think that's probably about it for right now, since no other questions have come in. Really enjoyed being here with y'all. And if you need me, I will be answering questions in the group, etc. Sir Linkslot signing off.